Allow me to ask you a question. A rather simple question. What is a human being? Is it only consciousness and memories? Can consciousness and memories be considered a human being? Or maybe human beings need to have a physical body too? These are some very interesting questions for sure. If we put consciousness and memories of a certain person into a machine, will it remain the same person as before? Or will it be something entirely different? Something that is beyond our comprehension. Something so different that we can't even make peace with it. These are the questions that Pantheon asks. Pantheon is one of the most mind-blowing shows that I have seen. It was released by AMC last year, on their quite obscure streaming service called AMC Plus, which a lot of people have never heard of. And thus the show didn't even have any exposure. The second season was not supposed to be released despite being finished for the most part. While this show's fate was hanging by a thread, Amazon Prime rescued it. One of the best science fictional stories of recent years could have just disappeared into complete obscurity. This is a quite dramatic story on its own, to be honest. But what is Pantheon about? A lot of people are familiar with the concept of AI. AI means artificial intelligence. It is a form of intelligence that doesn't necessarily require consciousness and can be trained to follow certain algorithms, no matter what these algorithms are. Everything that we do, it's basically a sequence of algorithms that we follow step by step. AI is well known, but have you heard of UI, uploaded intelligence? Basically, it is a human consciousness uploaded online on a special server. The first main character of Pantheon is a bullet high school girl named Maddie Kim, whose father, a brilliant programmer, died of cancer. The story commences when Maddie starts receiving mysterious messages from a stranger online. Obviously, those messages frighten her, as they can be sent by literally anyone with any purpose. However, it turns out that the messages come from her father, who Maddie and her mother believed was dead. But the truth is, the company David was working for, called Logarithms, uploaded him on a server online. His physical body might have died, but his mind didn't. He became what is called uploaded intelligence. The first season of Pantheon asks ethical questions. Should we accept uploaded people as people that we used to know, considering that they retain all the memories of their previous life in the physical world? Should the characters accept? Maddie and her mother have this deeply philosophical conflict. Maddie is ready to accept David because she misses her father and wants him back in any form or shape. But Maddie's mother has already moved on, for her life keeps going on and David is now like a ghost. Both Maddie and Ellen have their own truth, and they're both right. This philosophical question is addressed to everyone in the show. What should people do? How should people react? And what should governments do? Uploaded intelligence is the power that governments are trying to tame and bring under control and to use for their own purposes, like waging cyber wars on each other. UI has the power to launch nuclear weapons and destroy an entire city, or an entire civilization for that matter, or make the governments use nuclear weapons. Society of course gets divided. Some people see uploaded people as just people, but others view them as the next step of human evolution, a dangerous next step, for it poses a threat to the very existence of Homo Sapiens. Will Homo Sapiens cease to exist eventually, just like Neanderthals did tens of thousands years ago because of being disadvantaged compared to Homo Sapiens? The company Logarithms was founded by a genius named Stephen Hallstrom, who passed away many years ago. He was the first one to explore UI. Studying and understanding uploaded intelligence became Hallstrom's lifelong goal. Now we need to talk about the second main character of the show, a teenage boy named Caspian. Caspian is a young genius, but he lives in a completely dysfunctional family. His mother Renee doesn't work. His father Kerry is always angry that Renee wastes too much of his money, so they constantly fight and it sometimes even leads to violence. But that's not the terrible truth of the main protagonist. One day Caspian finds out that he is actually a clone of Stephen Hallstrom. Everything that Caspian ever knew was a lie. His parents are not his biological parents, and the whole family thing, including fights and scandals, was just a theater for Caspian. Logarithms made sure that Caspian was growing up exactly the same way as Stephen Hostrom, because they want Caspian to finish Hostrom's life project. But that's not everything there is to know. I will not tell you more, that would be spoilers, but the second season reveals even more horrifying truth of Stephen Hostrom and his company. Caspian is left completely alone with this terrifying feeling, this horrible realization that his whole life is just a show and nothing was real. Even Caspian's first girlfriend was hired by Renee. We see how much Caspian struggles, how he's slowly accepting the truth that makes him hate himself. Other countries, not just the US, also upload people to the server. India, Russia, China, Israel, Iran. The situation gets more and more dangerous as hostile governments threaten each other with cyber warfare. The US government even has to cut America from internet connection to stop, or if not stop, but at least weaken the UI. UIs, however, cannot exist on the server forever, because they are infected with a catastrophic flaw that is slowly destroying them and erasing their uploaded identities. And the only person who can create a special cure to save UI is of course Caspian. Despite all the apocalyptic stuff going on, Pantheon is a deeply personal story of Maddie and Caspian. Maddie is suffering with her feelings. As a child she needs her father, and in the very core of her character is the desire to have a normal family. And, essentially, be like everyone else, to have a father and a loving family. She's even ready to accept UI as her father. Caspian tries to understand who he really is. He tries to understand if there is anything that is actually him and not Stephen Hostrom. Any feelings or emotions that are uniquely his. No surprise that eventually these two find a certain sense of consolation in each other. Once you think that you figured the show out like a puzzle, the story adds even more pieces and layers to the plot. The show can be developing a character's arc for an entire season, leading them to some big event or confrontation, and then the character just dies, and all the expectations are subverted. And this happens more than just once in the show with different characters. Once you think you know what's going on, you actually don't know anything. The ending is absolutely not what anyone can expect. With many different ways to end the story and many directions to go, the show chooses the most unexpected one. The ending is guaranteed to blow your mind away, and live with silent contemplation after the last frame fades away. The animation does look great too. Pantheon, only resurrected by a miracle, is one of the most fascinating shows that has been released in recent years. It is not just a masterfully written sci-fi story. It is an important story. It shows what refusal to accept and tolerate others who don't look like us can lead to, what catastrophic consequences can follow. It is a very important thing that we should never forget, because only by accepting others can we build a strong society where everyone can live in peace. And this is what Pantheon wants you to realize. So, watch Pantheon. This show certainly deserves your attention.